welcome back to more NieR, which will progress story sometimes today, I swear. In part because, well, I don't think we have any. Yeah, the only side quests we have to do right now are fishing. And I don't feel like fishing right now. At the very least, not immediately. So we'll do some the actual story for once, I swear. But howdy toucans, howdy Niv. Thank you for being ever so heckin' prompt. Oh, hi glitchiness. Niv, are you trying to be a big shot? It looks like you're trying to be a big shot. Ah, God, that song slaps. But yeah, I recommend it, Niv. Deltarune Chapter 2 is fantastic. And yeah, we just did, the last story thing we did was Facade. We did all the puzzles at Facade and we rescued the prince. And then he also had no idea how to cure the Black Scrawl, so we just decided to go back hunting for sealed verses. And then we did a bunch of side quests and now we're back in town. Also, there's a weird glitchy shading over there on the right side of there for a bit. But yeah, good thing, I'm glad you used that Elite 4 command. Toucans, because I keep forgetting to say anything on it. But yeah, the next Elite 4 event is happening in a week on December 6th, or at least that is currently planned. We kind of have to wait until the end of the week to make sure everyone's schedules allow for it, but that's the plan. And they will be held on this here channel. And then emote survey is all done now, and I implemented all the emote. I implemented all the emotes and tweaked them around a bit based on feedback from the survey and my personal ones too. So now. So yeah, now tier 1 emotes are all updated, all the bit tier emotes, follower emotes. They're all in places where I think they'll be comfortable for a bit. Though I want to get 4 more emotes made still. But I need to come up with ideas for those first before I even plan to figure anything out there. And then we still have the issue of what the heck we're going to do with animated emotes once those decide to actually unlock for me, which should happen within a month or so. Also, heck, that's perfectly fine. You are busy. Also, yeah, we weren't really able to make Saturday work, unfortunately, like last time, just due to schedule conflicts. But yeah, I am looking forward to it though. Also, yeah, I don't doubt that you can make a neato indie game, but yes, the game development does take quite some time. Quite some time and a lot of work. Okay, Yona, I'll stay here with you tonight. It's hard to let it go. That's not the lyrics for Simple and Clean, but it's fine.
You bet.
Really? You'll stay with me? Really?
Yeah, Yona, I'll stay.
Yay!
Now get back to bed.
Okay.
And this is how I sleep. Also, where does Okabe sleep. There's no second bed. But does that mean I have to meet your father? I hear a voice. I squint and see a boy standing before me. His hair is silver, his skin is pale, and he stares up at me with hard, glassy eyes. Ooh. This is a lovely song. Soon his lips begin to move. No sound comes out. What is he saying? I can't hear him. Can't hear him. Can't hear him. Can't hear him. I try to leave, but something about the boy holds my gaze. I watch his face, expressionless, as his lips slowly flutter. What is he trying to say? Wait, it's a phrase. I can almost make it out. It starts with an S, and there's an E. I can almost see it now. The letters begin to fall together, one after the other, faster and faster. Sealed verse. It's a sealed verse. The thing I'm looking for. The key to saving my sister. I stare at the boy with renewed ferocity, trying desperately to make out his next word. Dream. Dream? What the hell does that mean? Lips moves again, faster now. Can't follow them. Damn it, I can't make it out. I want to scream. I want to tear the walls down around me, but instead, I force myself to be calm. I can do this. I can do it for Yona. Slowly, ever so slowly, I parse out the letters that make up his final words. Forest of Myth. So now we actually have to go to the forest. I remember at some point I was like, I should probably check that place again. And I haven't. Oh, our bed is first floor.
Just
Forgot
a
about
dream. Even in my dreams, I'm hunting sealed verses.
that. The Forest of Myths and Legend? Oh, hi, Yona. Oh. Quite the pan.
Morning.
Morning, Yona.
What's wrong? Are you feeling sick too?
No, I had a strange dream.
Been having these weird dreams lately. Like, are they for real? Or not?
What was it about?
It's nothing. Don't worry about it.
'Cause I had a dream too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Me and this boy were playing a game together.
What kind of game?
It was called Guess the Words. I
Mm.
think he made it up because I never heard of it before.
What? Mechanalyst Haley Joel Osment.
How did it work?
The boy would move his mouth, but no words would come out. Then I had to guess what he was trying to say. It was hard.
Hmm?
I wanted to play hide and seek, but we had to play his dumb game instead.
How did we have the same dream,
So
Yona?
what did he say?
I don't know. All I could figure out was
Son of a
dream
bitch!
and Forest of Myth. But don't worry, I'm gonna study hard so that next time I can figure out everything. We should play a game together sometime too.
Yeah, let's play a game of
Sure, Yona.
copy my dreams, Yona. That's not strange at all.
We should play a game.
That's not strange at all.
Something troubling you, lad?
It's nothing. Don't worry about it. Come on, I need to go ask Popola something.
About the Forest of Myth, mayhaps? Hold on. We need to see if there's quests first. Nope. What's heck? Narok, how dare you? Waltz on in here and be kind and generous. How dare you? But thank you. I appreciate you gifting that sub to Nib. Thank you so much. Also, thanks for stopping by, Era. Dang it. Oh. Here comes Erok's final gift sub ever of all time. There it is. And it goes to Little Bird. Nice. Thank you, Erok, for gifting a sub to Little Birdie and having it be your 69th gifted sub. I sincerely appreciate it. Also nice.
What's up, Popola?
Oh, hi. I just got a strange letter in the mail.
Dearest Popola, I hope this letter finds you well. I am writing in hopes of bringing to your attention a certain dream issue of concern regarding recent events in Dream the Village. Dream the Village. I was hoping I might be dreamable to get your advice dream on the matter. Oh. Recently there have been dream reports, dream of a certain dream of dream, evil dream, empty dream curse, dream, evil dream, words, dream, and dream, someone, Huh. So have a
That
good
is
look.
certainly one bizarre piece of writing.
Who's it from?
It seems we're not the only ones having this dream.
The mayor of a small village in the Forest of Myth. It's a wooded area up north.
The Forest of Myth?
They're usually a bright and cheerful group of people. Something like this is very out of character for them.
Is
I
it?
have a bad feeling about this.
I'll check it out.
You will? But,
Don't worry about it. I've got business there anyway.
oh, well,
A sealed
alright.
verse, maybe.
Thank you.
Time to go to the woods where nothing spooky happens. Nothing spooky will ever happen in a forest of myths, where it's probably foggy, because you can't have a spooky forest without fog. It's physically impossible. I would not consider that spoilers. Also, really? One dash attack now. One dash attack will get rid of them. Heck! Onsta! Heck! Oh, beans! Howdy, Onsta. Thank you for the raid, not the follow. I appreciate it. How is the rest of having your commissioners indulge your wanton Dragon Ball Z lust? Unhinged? Excellent. Exactly as an Onsta stream should be. Also feral, also what every Onsta stream should be. But welcome everyone. We are playing some NieR. We're gonna do some spooky forest stuff. To which the only spoiler I've received on it is Toucans likes this part. So we have the Toucan seal of approval on what we're gonna be doing. Also Nikki. Hello. Also Hembliostro. So powerful. Heck. Thank you, Nikki. Also UQ. How dare you waltz in this chat. But also welcome everyone. Howdy's in, howdy Weeb. Howdy Ed, howdy Josh. Thank you for hanging out, stopping by the raid. We're about to have a time. What sort of time, I don't know. Also, don't mind the fact that I roll and attack everywhere. It's faster than just running. Ever the speedrunner, am I? Hello, sir.
Beware. Beware the words.
The words? What do you mean?
I mean the words that were spelled out to me by a dream?
Contagious words. Those who dream.
Those who dream?
Hold a moment. There There's a strange new sensation in my mind.
There's a strange new sensation in Vice's mind, and Vice is a millennia-old magic book. Vice's voice rose in a quizzical way.
It is not quizzical.
What's going on?
Are we entering visual novel territory or text adventure territory? This also happened in Automata. The villager's body shuddered as he slowly opened his eyes.
Perhaps we should start by asking this man.
Who are you?
We heard something happened to this village, so we came to see if we could help.
The mayor stared at Okabe and Vice.
If you can speak to me, I must have caught you in my dream.
We're in your dream now?
In your dream?
The mayor explained. In the past weeks, a mysterious disease called the Death Dream had spread across the forest of myth. Those who caught it were cursed to fall asleep and live forever within the world of their own dreams. The village mayor had determined the Death Dream was spread from person to person by spoken words, but before he could learn more, the disease took him as well. So, but you're out of it, right? Vice stared at the mayor, his mouth twitching slightly. Vice has a mouth? I can't get a good angle. Also, everything's covered up by a text box now, so...
Now see here. Are you saying
It doesn't
that
move.
we've been absorbed into your dream?
Well, yes. I think you have.
In other words, we've caught the death dream?
That sounds lovely. Before the mayor could confirm Okabe's suspicion, Vice exploded with rage.
Ridiculous. Preposterous. Completely unfathomable on every conceivable level. I don't even recall falling asleep.
That's just how the death dream works.
Though polite, the mayor was clearly trying to brush aside the book's remarks.
My remarks are not to be brushed aside, fool.
The mayor twisted his mouth into an embarrassed grimace and quickly changed the subject to who Okabe had seen and what they had discussed since coming to the village.
Something there must have caused you to enter my dream. A certain conversation, a specific word, something.
Oh, everything's faded out now. Okabe and Vice racked their brains, but could find no easy solutions. There were simply too many words to consider, too much random chatter, too many meaningless conversations. Don't you talk about my side quests like meaningless conversations. Even though many of them were fetch questy, it's fine.
Grimoire Vice does not engage in meaningless conversations.
You're right, we don't, or you don't, but we do. The mere suggestion that Vice chose his words carelessly seemed to sting his pride.
It does not seem to sting my pride, you bloated gasbag of a narrator.
Don't you sass me, Vice. I'm just reading what's on screen.
It has demolished it utterly.
Irritated, Vice looked skyward, as if searching for answers in the heavens.
I was doing no such thing. Just leave me alone already.
I like this. The anger created by his harsh words bled over to Okabe like a contagion. Oh. Wait, said Okabe suddenly. Did someone just say contagion? Yes, I believe so. What of it? Well, that villager told us to watch out for contagious words, right? The mayor leaned forward with renewed interest, pushing a startled Vice aside in the process. He must have said something, right? Asked the mayor. Some specific combination of words. What was it? It was about dreaming or something that dreams are... Oh, what the hell was it? The sheep? I can't do a good Vice voice. The sheep? Nope, not even close. Cried Vice suddenly, blurting out the first thing that popped into his head. The others stared at him for a moment before slowly shaking their heads. After a few more minutes of thought, Okabe's face suddenly lit up. I remember, he said. Those who dream. That's what he said. I'm sure of it. At this, the mayor produced a thick sheaf of papers from his pocket. He flipped through them a few times before finally nodding his approval at Okabe. That sounds about right, he said, as a stray sheet of paper fluttered to the ground. My notes also mentioned something about that. I bet it was the last thing you heard before you fell asleep. The mayor shook his head, his worn pencil stub tracing lines across a lone piece of paper. For the last month, I've done nothing but study the disease we call the death dream, he said. I mean, I'm the mayor, right? It's my job to protect people from whatever comes along. But I never expected a couple of outsiders to start entering people's dreams. The mayor paused, a grimace crossing his face. I should probably be taking notes or something. Vice immediately fired back. I applaud the force of will it takes to research a disease in your dreams, he said. But perhaps we should bend your efforts to escaping this place instead of trying to understand it. An H, a high, and a hydrate. To you as well. Although I'm not sure if seltzer water is hydrating or not, but... The mayor's hand tightened around his pencil, snapping off the tip. I've tried to escape. From the very first moment I realized I was locked inside my own dream, I've been looking for a way out. I don't think it exists. I mean, this is my dream, right? If there were an exit, I'd know about it. He paused for a moment, his unfocused eyes staring at nothing. My village was beautiful, he said to no one in particular. And it was filled with the most wonderful people you could ever hope to meet. Once this disease took hold, things changed. It's like someone took a sponge and soaked all the color out of our lives. I just want us to be whole again. I want us to be free. I won't stop trying until it happens. Okabe nodded in agreement. Huh? Wait a second, I didn't nod. Look, if we can be of any help, said Okabe, just ask. Nah, hold on, I did not just say that. Silence, cried Vice. The grimoire looked from Okabe to the mayor and back again, his face filling with confidence. Grimoire Vice's face is always confident, thank you very much. Now see here, Mayor, you told us that nothing can exist in this dream without your knowing of it. But yet you seemed surprised to see us when we first arrived, yes? The mayor slowly raised his head, realization dawning on his face. My God, he said. You're right. You're right. I had no idea you were coming. The human imagination is a limitless engine, said Vice, and dreams are the fuel. If you can imagine an exit, then it must be so. With your permission, we shall search it out. Thank you, said the mayor. I don't know how I can repay you. Payment is not required. We are as eager as you to be done with this place. The mayor suddenly felt as if he could breathe again. He'd almost forgotten what it was like. Good luck, you two, called the departing forms of Okabe and Vice. We're all counting on you. Stop calling me Shirley. As Okabe slowly faded into the misty forest, the mayor was struck by a sense of deja vu. I saw this man once before, he thought. But where? Okabe's mood darkened as he trudged through the forest. Hours earlier, when the beauty of the place was still a new thing, he'd been confident they could get in, find the exit, and be home in time for dinner. But the deeper they went, the more the forest closed in around him. The mist made it difficult to see more than a foot in any direction, and moss-covered rocks seemed determined to twist his ankle. More than once he'd been forced to steady himself on the rough bark of a tree, and his hands now left small trails of blood on everything he touched. Additionally, Vice was proving to be a spectacularly poor traveling companion. Unhindered by either terrain or physical effort, he spent most of his time urging Okabe to pick up the pace, and grumbling about their slow progress. Finally, after Vice muttered something about legless turtles being more adept at navigating the environment, Okabe snapped. Okay, Vice, cram it for a second, would you? You don't have to walk. Okabe leaned against the tree and tried to stretch the knots from his back. How can this stupid forest be so big? He muttered to himself. The moment the words tumbled from his mouth, a cacophony of insects sprang to life. Every imaginable form of buzz, click, and hiss roared at a volume that rattled his teeth. Okabe slapped his hands over his ears and screamed to be heard. Vice! What's going on? Okabe could see Vice's mouth moving, but he might as well have been shouting in a tornado. The insects screamed, the forest howled. And then, just as Okabe's ears seemed ready to tear from his head and go running for cover, the sound diminished. Hesitantly, he removed the hand from his left ear and listened to the creatures of the woods. Zri, 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 zri. That's the best I could do. I can't do all these. God damn, there's too many. Woo, mama. God, you can't say Wooma after watching Barry play Yakuza. Also, hi, Caddy. The game's not normally like this. This seems to be its whole thing. As the insect symphony dimmed another decibel, Okabe began to detect patterns in the sound. This isn't random, he thought. It's not just white noise. It's something else. The insects weren't just calling out. They were asking a question. 1 with it is lacking. 2 with it is ideal. 3 with it is dangerous. What is it? By my pages, is this the riddle? I guess so. I mean, it feels sort of forced, but maybe it's the key to getting out of this place? Then I leave it to you to answer. God, Vice, please. 1 with it is lacking. 2 with it is ideal. 3 with it is dangerous. What is it? How should I know? A secret is most likely the correct answer. As that actually tends to be the right thing. An actual study thing is keeping a secret to yourself is harmful. Keeping yourself or telling just one person your secret and sharing it amongst you is a great stress relief. And then 3 is someone told others. Toucans, why did you clip that? You cess. Inwardly furious that Vice left the task to him, Okabe sighed and gave the only answer that made sense. It's a secret, right? The sound of the insect stopped as suddenly as it began. Forest undergrowth parted before Okabe like a rippling wave, opening a new path. These forest arthropods are making a road for us, said Vice with glee. Pleased at passing the test, Okabe moved on with new intensity. It's not a seesaw. I mean, technically it is dangerous with 3. I'd more describe seesaws boring with 3 people because then you're not doing anything. One person is just lifted off on the other, and the others are just sitting at the bottom. The path offered his body relief from the undergrowth, but gave even greater cheer to his mind. As long as they were on a path, their journey had a purpose. Guess this forest has accepted us, huh? Said Okabe after a bit. Vice spun around to face his companion. Do not mistake the will of this forest for some happy pet you can suddenly befriend. We have no idea where this path leads. As Vice finished speaking, the pair turned a corner and found themselves facing a clear forest spring. Smiling, Okabe picked up a small rock and sent it skipping across the surface of the water. Good heavens, said Vice. His surprise was understandable. Each time the rock struck the surface of the water, a musical note rang out. When the rock finally stopped moving and sank to the bottom of the spring, the ripples it left behind came together to form words. I enter through the window, but break no glass. When night falls, I vanish. What am I? Also, yes, seesaws are very dangerous. I had a childhood friend get a big gouge on the underside of his chin from a seesaw. Some kids were being too excited with it, clocked him on the underside of his jaw. Absurdly easy, barked Vice. Now answer it. Okabe gritted his teeth and tried to reach out and strangle his companion. He's right, after us all. This one is pretty easy. I enter through the window, but break no glass. When night falls, I vanish. What am I? Sunlight? It's a letter! Letters always come through the window, right? Sunlight! A plume of water suddenly burst from the spring. Sunlight filtered through the trees and reflected off the plume, creating a shimmering rainbow that spanned the entire horizon. In all my years, said Vice softly, I have never seen such a sight. Perhaps I have misunderstood the intentions of this place. Hey, look, cried Okabe, awakening Vice from his daze. There's a house or something over there. Glancing in the direction of his friend's extended hand, Vice saw a small cottage nestled amongst the trees. That's weird, isn't it, Vice? I mean, who would build a house all the way out here? Okabe walked over and pounded on the door. After a minute of solid banging, the door cracked open, and a small man peered out. His body was cloaked from neck to toe in a large black cape, while his face was obscured by mist. Began Okabe, but before he could go any further, the cloaked man held up a hand and began speaking. Why is everything a goddamn riddle? I have 4 legs in the morning and 2 at noon, but end the night with 3. What am I? Okabe tried to ask the cloaked man who he was and what he was doing there, but he simply repeated the question. If we wish to engage this man in conversation, said Vice, it seems we must answer his riddle. Yes. Yeah, I suppose, said Okabe. Well, at least it's an easy one. 4 legs in the morning, 2 at noon, but end the night with 3. What am I? Man. A demon and angel. I thought the whole thing was not morning, noon, and night, but starts with 4 legs, then 2, and then ends its life with 3. Not with just within a single day, but literally a demon and an angel don't make sense. So, oh man. Mist dissolved from the cloaked figure as he spoke a single word. Correct. That's why it's a stupid. With that, the man flung his garment aside, revealing his true identity. You're the mayor, cried Okabe. The small man slowly shook his head. I am not the mayor, you know. Now listen to my words. Long ago, I saw a version of you that was not yourself. Sorry? What's that mean? It will make sense in time. At present, I simply congratulate you on cracking the seal of the Death Dream. Now you must go to the person at the forest entrance. With that, the man turned on his heel and slammed the door behind him. As Okabe watched, mist seeped up from the ground and enveloped the cottage, erasing it from existence. When Okabe and Vice returned to the forest entrance, they found the mayor leaning against a tree. As soon as he caught sight of the duo, he sprang to his feet and scrambled over to them. "Good gravy," he cried. "You made it! You actually made it back!" His left hand grasped Okabe's and pumped it so fiercely it threatened to dislodge from the socket, while his right seized Vice by the cover and swung him through the air. "Gah! By the heavens, stop shaking me, fool! We have not even told you if we were successful or not." The mayor smiled broadly and shook his head. "I'm just happy you're alive. Didn't think I'd ever see you again." Okabe withdrew himself from the mayor's eager handshake with a slight smile. "We broke the Death Dream seal," he said. "At least I think we did." Mayor's face beamed as Okabe filled him in on the details. When the tale was done, the three of them laid down on the forest ground and fell asleep. Okabe cocked his head. "Okay, hang on a sec. This is crazy. Why would you just lay down and go to sleep?" "Cease your endless prattle and go to sleep, fool. Fighting against the rules of this place is futility itself." Okabe and the mayor obediently reclined atop the grassy earth. "Have you forgotten," continued Vice, "it is words that control the Death Dream, words that allow us to move from place to place. No matter how unnatural they seem, the words are absolute. Therefore, if the words tell us to sleep, then sleep we shall. And once we do, the story will continue." With that, the trio found their eyes growing heavy, their breath slowing. "This is the first time," began the mayor, "the first time I have felt tired since I was imprisoned here." His words were cut off by a loud, long yawn, and he remembered nothing more. They might have slept for an hour or a year. When they awoke, things had a slightly more real quality to them. The mist felt thicker, the leaves greener. It was clear that they had awakened from their dream. Kabe shook the mayor's shoulder gently. "Good news," he said. "I think we made it." "Oh, wow," said the mayor in an awed voice. "We did. I'm back." He blinked once, and then again, as if not quite believing the sight before him. "You two have no idea how much this means. The Death Dream was spreading through our village, and I wanted to... Well, I thought I could figure out how to stop it, but I guess that wasn't the case. Must have caught the disease and become trapped in my own dream." The mayor started to stand and collapsed back to the earth. He stared at his legs as if trying to remember how they worked, and glanced at Okabe and shrugged. Without a word, the young man reached down and pulled the mayor to his feet. "Real life may take some getting used to," said the mayor as a wry smile crossed his lips. "You should relearn in short order, I'm sure," said Vice. "For now, you should return to your home and rest." "No," said the mayor, swaying on unsteady feet. "No, I can't. Some of the villagers are still trapped in the Death Dream. I have to save them." The mayor slowly made his way to the divine tree in the center of the village, then bowed his head and prayed silently. "This is a holy tree," he explained when the prayer was finished. "It's the guardian of our village's history and memories." "Superstition will only make our mission harder," muttered Vice. "We should not put our faith in the gods." The mayor shook his head. "Not the gods, the words. Legend says that our tree is home to a powerful magic known as the Sealed Verse." Okabe and Vice could not contain their surprise. It seemed a goal had been found in the most unexpected of places. "I say," muttered Vice, "this is certainly a stroke of luck." As the three of them said their goodbyes, Okabe mentioned the strange man who had given them the third riddle and the mysterious words he had left them with. "I once saw a version of you that was not yourself," muttered the mayor. "What in the world does that mean?" Lost in thought, he stared into space for a long moment. "You know, he said softly. This is going to sound odd, but I had a feeling I'd seen you before too. Kabe tried to keep a straight face and failed, but the mayor didn't seem to notice. Deja vu, right? Anyway, I figure it's just some kind of illusion created by the death dream. It probably doesn't mean anything. Okabe gave the mayor a nod and a smile, but inwardly, his thoughts were racing. There's something wrong about the mayor and his words. What exactly is going on here? That riddle would prove to be the most difficult one of all.
Oh, thank you so much. Now I can finally return to a normal life.
This is one of the most bizarre diseases I have ever encountered.
I know. That's why we have to help the other villagers, no matter what.
Dark execution. Summon magical spikes from the ground to impale enemies.
For a sealed verse, that didn't take much effort.
Yes, all a touch too easy if you ask me. It's almost as if someone was guiding us to this village.
Don't overthink advice.
Oh my god. That was super neat though. Howdy Carnus, thanks for stopping by. And heck, hopefully. Ay. Ay. That sounds like a rough time, Carnus. Hopefully it's something you can get out of. And soon. So howdy gamer, thanks for stopping by. Sorry, I'm catching up now. And nice toucans. I remember Munchlax being an annoying point in Gen 4. Ay.
Now I can find...
This is one of the most...
I know.
This is the kind of shit that makes people fall in love with this game, though. This is the kind of shit that makes people fall in love with this game. It can be so fucking weird. It's trying a lot of things. It's not hitting them all with great stride. But some of them, it creates a tone that is so unique and fantastical. Where it's just like, fuck. And yet you can see how it's a cult classic and not a classic. Yeah. Cult classic, it absolutely retains. For sure.
This person must be dreaming too.
It would appear that way, yes.
Watching this, I'm like, I gotta get back to this. And I know I'll hate playing it again. I don't hate playing this game, but it's doesn't have enough depth in terms of actual gameplay. But it's got a lot of neat ideas.
Can't say I'm very excited to go back there. That dream world sort of creeps me out.
But I guess we're doing more dreams.
Perhaps you should spend less time complaining and more time getting on with the mission.
Yeah.
More raiding time. Heck, I forgot to mention to the Raiders, the Elite Four event. Well, we get to hear Metal Clings. Next week, Monday, we're holding the second day of our Neighborhood Watch Elite Four event, which we did a couple months back, where challengers fight off against 4 members of the Neighborhood Watch that have teams, have monotype teams or mono-themed teams, a la the Elite Four. And it was a lot of fun last time, and we're having the second one next Monday. And it'll be a great time, I'm sure. Alright, story time round 2. I breathe air scented with death and resist the urge to laugh, for I know it will sound like the words of a madman. How long have I been in this fresh hell? My box, my prison, is tucked beneath a stairway in the long unused catacombs of some infinite castle. Outside, I hear the sounds of a funeral dirge that plays without end. Themed teams. Flint is something special in Gen 4 because Gen 4 only has like 2 fire-type Pokemon. Outside, I hear the sounds of a funeral dirge that plays without end. Light has no place here. Wind is a forgotten friend. I pray for death to come, but he forsakes me. Time passes. An eternity slips by in a single tick of the clock. Someone knocks on my prison. Anyone there? I heard an unfamiliar voice say. My savior. I claw at the door of my jail, embedding thick splinters under my ragged nails. I scream for help. I laugh. I sob. Surely this is a product of my addled mind. Surely it cannot be true. Help me! I cry. For the love of all the gods, help me! Possibly I hear the sound of a lock being torn out and falling to the floor. As the doorway slowly creaks open, I have just enough time to see a silver-haired boy in a floating book before the light pours inside. My eyes, accustomed to blackness, explode with pain. I am forced to turn away. Who are you? I ask, shaking hands covering my face. How have you come to this place? I am Grimoire Weiss. This is Okabe. Long have we been searching for you. Now come, stand. We shall awaken from this nightmare together. The one known as Okabe extends his hand and pulls me from the cell. Though my eyes are slow to adjust to freedom, my ears are keen as ever, and they recognize the staccato sounds of heavy rain. I never thought to hear that again, I whisper. Would that this were not such a terrible storm, said Grimoire Weiss. Look at your feet. I force my eyes open and see water pooling around my ankles and lapping at my shins. There's so much of it. Yes, and more comes each moment we delay. If we do not make good our escape, we shall all drown in this castle. We know you are weak, but you are our only hope to survive this place. Time, that long-forgotten friend, made itself known again. I nodded. My head swore to save my rescuers, no matter the cost. The castle catacombs are a maze, twisting upon themselves like the endless entrails of a giant. I squint down the dim corridors and proceed north. Now we're really text adventure. Yeah, having the music follows specific cues and stuff. It's just like, fuck. At the end of the corridor, I find a row of 20 gorgeous canopied beds resting atop a carpet of velvet. All are covered in a thick layer of dust and cobwebs. Searching for the door to the next room, I come upon a shapeless mass of gray matter. It has been shoved against the side of the wall. Despite my fever, I think I see the outlines of a door just beyond. When I reach out a finger and touch a piece of the mass, it turns to dust and drifts away on the wind. Realization slowly dawns, and I fall to my knees and weep. Corpses. I face a mountain of charred and crumbling corpses. I look from it to the beds and back again until the horror dawns full upon me. Someone has piled these bodies into a tower and set them ablaze. Whether they were alive or dead, I do not know. Sanity will not permit me to consider the proposition further. I make a sound. Whether scream or laughter, I cannot be certain. And my mind grants me merciful blackness, and I find myself opening the door and leaving that most terrible of rooms. I squint down the dim corridors. Proceed east. And then head north. Squint down the dim corridors. North. At the end of the path, the waters rise to my waist, exhausting me both physically and spiritually. I pray that this is the way out. Eventually, I can stand the sight of the waters no longer, so turn my eyes upward. Imagine my surprise when I see a series of paintings hanging on the faded post-plaster wall. Each depicts a person in the prime of life, clad in clothing of the highest quality. The styles, however, are strange to me, leading me to believe that these people had lived long, long ago. One subject wears an outfit that particularly catches my eye. It's constructed of a thin, breezy cloth and decorated with a motif of flowers and birds, while encircling the figure's waist is a leather belt of the most perfect construction. It is a stunning costume even by modern standards. As I gaze at the portrait, I am struck by a desire to touch it with my own hands. Yet as I extend a single finger to the painting, I am gripped by a most unpleasant feeling. Staring closely at the image, I see it bend and warp into the shape of another finger. Something behind the picture is pointing at me. Is it another prisoner? A fellow inmate trapped for eternity in this place? I cannot let it pass, and so I seize the portrait with both hands and throw it into the water. The wall is hollow behind the painting. Inside, I can just make out a body. Whether or not this is a prisoner, there would be no rescue. Poor soul, it's long dead. Scraps of clothing lie on the floor around the bones. Only a small amount of the fabric has survived, but it features the same delicate designs that were depicted in the portrait. I have been admiring a row of corpses, blocked from view by portraits of each victim at their pinnacle. Enough! Shielding my eyes, I paddle forward through the water. Squint down the corridors. Proceed south. South again. And west. And south. The water has risen to my chin, now laps greedily at my mouth and nose. "You dumb bast!" shouts Okabe. He surely desires to say more, but the rest of his insult is cut short by the rising water. Grimoire of ice, wet and tattered, floats on the water's surface. It is already too late for him. This wasn't how it was supposed to end. Choose your own adventure, huh? You serious? Really? I mean, bold to actually make that a serious, but also that brought me to the last save. If I hadn't saved after the first one, I would have had to do the first one as well. Bold that they stuck to that decision. Though I wish it just checkpointed before the story.
This person.
It's
Okay, so what?
Can't
We
say I'm
went
very excited to go back there.
we went south,
Dream world sorta
southwest,
creeps me
south,
out.
and that was a dead end.
perhaps you should spend less time.
Yeah,
I'm actually gonna have to write this out. Because I went east, north, north, I believe was the first one. Sorry, I'm writing things down now. Shoot. Okay, so it starts south. Then I went west. South? No, go back. East. At the end of the path, I find myself in a great hall with only the sounds of rain for comfort. The waterlogged red carpet squishes beneath my feet as I approach the center of the room. Once there, I behold a beautiful dining table upon which rests china and silver of the finest construction, as well as the remains of a fantastic feast. As my eyes continue to adjust, I see many chairs surrounding the table, each holding a dinner guest. Noticing movement, I approach the chair at the table's head, but as the truth of the matter dawns on me, I recoil in horror. The host of the feast is a corpse, as are all the invited guests. An army of foul, wriggling insects have made homes in their remains. This is the movement I saw. This once splendid feast was now nothing more than a requiem for the damned. I take a moment to steady my shaking hands and slowly back away from the table. Desperate to lose sight of the abomination before me, my gaze lands on the chairs upon which the dead were seated. This is a mistake. The chairs prove to be even more terrible than the feast itself. Each one is covered in a layer of spikes that run from the seat up the back and down the arms. This explains the color of the carpet beneath my feet. I can only pray that the unfortunate diners were dead when the meal began. Or if not, it is a simple task to envision the agonized screams that must have sprung forth from their mouths. My mind grasps frantically at the possibility that these souls had committed some terrible crime for which this was the punishment. Though in truth, I suspect they'd committed no crime at all. There would be no tomorrow for these unfortunates. This was their last supper. Squint down the corridors. North. The water has risen to my chin, now laps greedily at my mouth and nose. What? Motherfucker! Do I just have only a certain amount of... I guess I just have a certain amount of freaking time, or not time, but moves before everything just dies. and you can't make mistakes. And I'm not sure if these scenes are actually forward progress or not. I don't know if these scenes are forward progress or not.
It's
Yeah.
Because they may just be... They may just be the dead ends in their own right. So, I want to start different map. Different map. See north. Then I go east. Because that's how I got. South is back. So this might be a single continuous thing where the places I got to were dead ends. East. North. And then here's the... So I went east. So I think what I did in my first attempt is I went completely backwards. I ended up going like southwest, southwest, which brought me back to where I began. And then... So this was dead. Because North just had the paintings. East has the... East has the... East has the feast. But there was also north from the feast. West would be going back. We can proceed north. Against all hope, we make it into the front door. I swear to God, if that's literally the end. And I literally went the right path, but ran out of my turns. Break it down, someone cries. And so I give myself to the effort. In tandem with Okabe and Grimoire Vice, I slam my body against the thick, sturdy door. On the third try, it gives way. We find ourselves sprawled on the ground outside the castle. The storm is in retreat. Clouds above are still dark and foreboding, but to the west, I can see a thin shimmer of sunlight trying to break through. How can I thank you? I cry as tears join the rain on my cheeks. I would have surely died in there. Looking down, I suddenly notice that my dress is in tatters. Sheepishly try to cover my exposed skin. Your dress? Asks Vice. Then you are a woman, madam. I am. I proffer the two a smile. Suppose that comes as something of a surprise, seeing as how I exist only in the form of words. I can see that the one known as Okabe is disappointed that the torn dress will be given no further description, but he hides it well. Wow. Wow. Just... Just calling Okabe out for trying to sneak a peek, even if there's nothing to peek at. Because she's literally words. With a nod and a shrug, the three of us set forth to our awakening. But behind us, an awakening of another kind is taking place. Black smoke fills the abandoned castle, providing the countless damned souls inside with their final shroud. After a moment, the castle's windows shatter with a mighty roar. A fresh breeze blows through the hallways and corridors, clearing the smoke away for good. As we watch in awe, uncountable black shadows slowly flicker to life, crossing to and fro in front of the broken windows. The castle's dead have awakened to their new life as shades.
You have anything to say about that?
Hopefully there will be no labyrinth next time.
I hear that.
Thank you so much for saving me. I never want to have a dream like that again.
I am slightly upset that I literally went the right way the last time and still died because I ran. I took too many steps and accidentally did a double back. I'm curious what the other directions lead to, but I'm sure it's just more of the just descriptors of the horrible crimes and punishments set upon those of that were seemingly imprisoned in the castle. Yeah, I think if I went west, if I went west at the main at the main intersection, then I would have. That was the only direction I had not gone.
And another victim. This work certainly is trying.
It's like wine casks filled with blood, if I remember right. Love.
I figured a book like you would be into all this word stuff, Vice.
Just because Vice is made of words doesn't mean he has a fetish for words. It's incredibly stereotyping. How dare you?
Even I have my exceptions. Now let's be off.
I had to wait for the desk to go down. Excuse me. I wish I wasn't so burpy for all this reading. A colony of massive sculptures was visible in the distance, their tall forms scraping against the sky. Vice and Okabe had never seen such a sight, and their eyes widened as they tried to take it in.
Those buildings must be huge if we can see them from this far away. What do you think, Vice?
As Vice considered his answer, the sun beat down on them with renewed ferocity.
Perhaps they are some manner of mirage.
Under this heat, a mirage or two would hardly be an unexpected sight. Okabe nodded and wiped the sweat off his brow, leaving a trail of sand in its place. Thought he'd never been so thirsty. The ancient road on which they walked was black and cracked with age. Here and there, thin wisps of grass pushed up through the rocky surface, as if defying those who had laid this material down over their home. The heat reflecting from the road made Okabe lightheaded. His feet hurting, he crouched to rest. I don't know how much longer I can do this. Someone playing a joke on us or what? The complaining had already begun. Vice tried not to let his eyes roll too much. A joke, he said. No joke. This road leads to the City of Art. Perhaps the path itself is simply some manner of grand artistic work. You don't sound very sure of yourself there. Perhaps not. but thinking of it in this way might make it easier for you to bear. Okabe glanced at Vice's grinning face, shook his head, and resumed walking. As time passed, Okabe's feet grew more painful, and his throat drier than he thought possible. He tried not to look further than the next step ahead, as the bright sunlight made him hesitant to trust his own senses. "We are definitely getting closer," said Vice in an effort to cheer his companion. "Yes, this much is certain." Encouraged, Okabe lifted his gaze. Suddenly, he stopped walking, choosing instead to stand in the middle of the road with his mouth and eyes wide open, and his finger pointing in the distance. "Water!" he cried. "It's water!" "Water?" asked Vice. "Preposterous! I don't see any water." "Over there, just ahead of us. Look, the sun's reflecting off it." Without waiting for a response, Okabe sprang to life and bounded towards the sight. "What in the—" There's no water. There's nothing but sand in every direction. Okabe closed his eyes and sighed as Vice floated up behind him and chuckled softly. "I believe this is known as a mirage," he said. "Many a desert traveler has spoken of such things." Okabe shook his head, bewildered. Suddenly, he pointed off in the distance, his eyes wide once more. "Wait, there it is! I just missed it! Look, it's right there!" Okabe sprinted off again, leaving Vice with no choice but to follow. After a few minutes of running, Okabe came to a halt. "I could have sworn it was right around here." Confused, he put his hands up to his eyes and rubbed them vigorously. As soon as he stopped, he noticed a blue, shimmering pool of clear water just over the rise. With a shout, he bounded off in search of it. The chase continued for nearly an hour, until an exasperated Vice finally floated up to Okabe and struck him in the face with his cover. "Enough, you blithering idiot! Stop this at once! There is no water here!" Okabe's face clouded. "There isn't? There is not. Perhaps next time you will listen to me when I tell you as much." Vice paused for a moment and continued speaking in a slightly kinder tone. "However, I suppose this mad chase was not altogether wasted. It seems we have arrived in the City of Art." Okabe looked up. Stretched out before him was a row of impossibly tall sculptures. Their journey was at an end. "They're huge!" cried Okabe, completely forgetting the heat and pain of the past few hours. "I've never seen anything so big." Each sculpture was formed roughly the same shape, a tall rectangle that stretched upward towards the sky. But that is where the similarities ended. Most were covered with panes of glass that reflected light in 1,000 directions, while others seemed to be nothing but frames of steel. Some had tall spires on their tops, while others possessed triangular caps. "What kind of city is this?" said Okabe. "Where are the people? Where are the houses?" "Perhaps the land is intended exclusively for artistic use." The debate continued as they made their way through the city. Miracles of artistry were everywhere. Great iron crates with wheels sat silent on steel rails. Beautiful carved works with lights of red, amber, and green dangled over every street. As they moved away from the massive sculptures, they found a great array of smaller ones. Some were covered in glass or brick, but many were composed of materials they had never before encountered. The sheer variety of colors and styles was staggering. Unable to find a theme or purpose to the abstract works around them, Okabe and Vice eventually fell silent. On the outskirts of the city, they discovered 3 sculptures in the shape of humans. Okabe uttered a sigh of relief as he approached them. "Finally! It's getting tired of modern art." 3 statues were indistinguishable, except for a single word chiseled into their right arms, One red alpha, one red beta, and the final one, red gamma. As Okabe moved to touch the nearest statue, a bird flew from the top of one of the sculptures. Alighting on the statue's shoulder, it emitted a brief, beautiful song that took the form of words. Only one form is real, the others are false. The real form will always speak the truth. I don't think that's picking up on the mic. Dang it. My mic's set too sensitively. You can't hear the paper folding. I'm not looking for anything. Just writing things down. Also, that's a great spammed emote. Yeah. The false ones will only speak lies. With that, the bird departed. As if on cue, the three statues shuddered to life, acquiring color and form as they began to breathe. Also, based on the description as I was reading it out, I'm just like, NieR just stepping into the world of automata real casually. Now you're going to tell me that the three figures are sexy robot androids. Hey, look at that, said Okabe. They're alive. The triplets bowed low before Okabe. Please, said Alpha. You have to get me out of this nightmare. I am real. Stop lying, said Beta. He turned to Okabe and threw his hands in the air. Alpha's a fake. You know, I'm the real one. What a load of crap, said Gamma. Beta is fake. Everyone knows I'm the only real one around here. Their respective pleas given, the three statues returned to their frozen state as silence once again enveloped the city. What? When you consider all of their statements, only one of them could be the real thing, said Vice. Okabe furrowed his eyebrows and considered his answer. Only one form is real, the other forms are false. The others are false. The real form will always speak the truth, the false ones will only speak lies. I don't have enough information. So there were 6 statements made. Alpha made the statement, I am real. Beta made the statement, Alpha is fake. Beta also made the statement that I am real. Beta also made the statement that Alpha is lying. And Gamma says Beta is faking, and Gamma says I am real. So... So let's test. So if, because it's a chain, it's just so strange. We say beta was true. Means it is correct that alpha saying they're real would be wrong. It would be correct. Feels like I need to look at the statements again. Beta is fake. I am real. Cowboy took a long look at the statues and tried to clear his mind. On the outskirts of city, they discovered. So it does repeat it. Only one form is real, the others are false. The real form will always speak the truth. False ones will only speak lies. You have to get me out of this nightmare. I am real. So that's another statement. So you have to get me out of this nightmare. Could be a lie. Stop lying, said Beta. Alpha is a fake. I'm the real one. What a load of crap. Beta is a fake. Everyone knows I'm the real one. Huh. It's the phrasing that's strange there on gammas. Everyone knows I'm the real one around here. There's multiple ways that could be a lie. Could be a lie on them being the real one. It could be a lie that everyone knows. Beta is a fake. Everyone knows I am the real one. I'm trying to find the statement where it just like really stands out. Cause we don't have like any statements from Alpha. Alpha says, I am real. Also says, I have to get out. Or you have to get me out of this nightmare. If one is lying, you can inverse every statement they've made. Lying doesn't mean inversion all the time, though. But we could try that form of deductive reasoning. For these types of riddles, it usually does. Means it's a bad riddle. Or it's an oversimplified riddle. So if Alpha is lying, then they're saying, I am not real, and you do not have to get me out. If Beta is lying, they're saying Alpha is correct. Which... I mean, if that's... Oh, that's where it starts to come in, is the chain. Because Alpha is the only one who says, I am real. If Beta is lying, then it says Alpha is real, which Alpha corroborates. But then Gamma says Beta is fake, which also could be the lie, then. Which means Beta, they're saying Beta is true, which then doesn't line up. If we say Gamma is lying, they're saying Beta is telling the truth. That means if Beta is telling the truth, that means Alpha. So it means that it's Beta. It means that it's Beta just based on that. I thought it would be more tricky with the extrinsic statements. But if it's just the three statements that Alpha is real, which is a lie. Alpha is a fake, which is true. And Beta is a fake, which is a lie. So it would mean Beta then. Yeah. Pretty sure. The real one is Beta. Though Okabe's voice betrayed a notable lack of confidence, he was relieved to see Vice nodding. If Alpha were telling the truth, began Vice in the dry tones of a lecturer, Beta and Gamma would be fakes. But in that case, Gamma's claim that Beta is fake would be the truth, even though Gamma is a liar. Therefore, the theory crumbles. Now let us presume that Gamma spoke truth. That makes Alpha and Beta liars. In this situation, however, Beta is calling Alpha a liar, which would leave us with two statues telling the truth. Finally, let us assume that Beta is telling the truth. If so, Alpha and Gamma's lies would make sense. Therefore, Beta must be real. As Vice finished his explanation, Alpha and Gamma crumbled soundlessly into dust, while Beta sprang to life once more. I was trying to dig deeper than the riddle wanted you to. I was expecting it to I was expecting it to have more to deal with their other extrinsic statements. Like this specific wording with everyone knows that I'm the real one. Or some weird like word game like that. Not just a simple they're saying they're real. That one says that the first one's lying, the second one's or the third one says that the second one's lying. Those were the only 3 factors. I was trying to add more variables when they weren't variables. Mecha overanalyst time. That's me. Congratulations, villager, said Vice in a cheerful voice. The time to awaken has arrived. Thank you for saving me, cried the villager. He dropped to his knees and bowed his head as low as it could go before an uncomfortable Okabe pulled him to his feet. Why did you have a dream like this? Asked Vice. Have you been to this city before? The villager slowly looked around at the bizarre objects and sculptures that dotted the landscape, then shook his head. I don't think so. I mean, it's impossible, right? There's no way I could have ever been to a place like this. But at the same time, I feel like I've seen it before. Deja vu, muttered Okabe. Just like the mayor. The vague sense of unease that struck Okabe during the mayor's dreams spread once more through his mind.
That was rough.
I am positive I have seen that place before.
Like in a game that came out in 2017. Something about automatic tomatoes.
Okay, that's enough. Don't need you getting all weird on me too. Okay, there. Now all the villagers can wake up, right?
Yes, if the mayor's assumption was correct. I think I have had enough wordplay to last a lifetime. Thank you very much.
You're telling me. Anyway, let's go see the mayor.
Also, Stitch, you are always welcome. You are always welcome.
Oh, how wonderful. Thank you so much. Here, I have something for you.
The one-handed sword, Faith.
Wow, this looks valuable. I can really have it?
Of course. It's apparently a weapon of some renown, but we have little use for it.
Well, we appreciate it.
Thank you again for everything.
Oh. Where is Faith? Very light. Sword carried by the world's most loyal servant. Like that loyalty, the sword's blade is straight and true. Bang, I sold a bunch of broken antennas so I could update that. I could upgrade that, but it still wouldn't be even anywhere as powerful as my freaking other weapon. It's so ridiculous. Why do they allow you to get Beast Bane so early when it's so much more powerful than literally everything else? It's technically slow, but it's not that slow. Tree, were you the cause of this? Have at you! Also, it looks like very much that there's a way to get into the center of that tree. But mayhaps in the future. Well, that was super neat. That segment's really cool. Also, this note from Iona says, I can't wait to meet Kaine. I bet it's really nice and says
How was the village?
nice things. I'm like, you'll be in for a surprise when you meet Kaine.
Oh, it was truly magnificent. There are no words. Really.
Neat. Let's get back to Popola. She'll probably want to know what's going on in there.
No words, he says. Oh, could you not? What the? Could you not? Drift! Oh, so we did learn Dark Execution, but I don't. Should I use that instead of the feast? Instead of the fist. Nah. Yeah, it's the spheres that come from the ground. I don't have any immediate want for that. Nothing that I can't make do with either just firing regular shots or using the charged up hand. I have no idea how much damage basically any of these things do. For the most part, I've been super overpowered for a very long time where I just kind of shoot everything with normal blasts and it does more than enough. Because Beastbane is stupidly strong. True will suddenly open up an ending. I believe this game only has endings A through E. Automata had all of the other endings.
The death dream certainly is a strange illness.
Yeah, it was something all right.
Even I, with my natural love for words, have no desire to visit that place ever again.
You guys did well. You've been making a lot of long trips lately. Are you sure you're not pushing yourself too hard?
I'm okay. I can't just sit around all day while Yona's sick after all.
If you say so.
So, anything I can do for you?
Well, I suppose there is one thing I could use a hand with. Have you heard about our plans to repair the canal? The work
No.
probably won't happen for a while, but once it's done, we can use the canal for trade and travel and all kinds of useful things. Unfortunately, however, we're a bit behind schedule at the moment. If you're willing to help out, I'd really appreciate it.
No problem. What do you need?
Great. So, the man I originally asked to help on this project hasn't shown up for work in a few days.
Oh, good.
I'm starting to get a little worried, so maybe you can head over to Seafront and check up on him? I'll mark the location of his house on your map. He always carries a red bag over his shoulder, so he should be easy enough to find.
Got it.
Red bag over shoulder. So long as he has that red bag over his shoulder at all times during the day, every day. Excuse me.
A canal, is it? Fascinating. If we had a ferry, we could put these days of endlessly running about behind us.
Don't you just float everywhere anyway?
Do you think I am borne aloft by the winds, lad? It takes stamina to maintain this height.
Oh, really?
You could at least try to hide the utter dismay, you know.
Dang it, I was hoping you'd have something special for me up here because I haven't been up here in forever. Alas, no. That would be neat if I could ferry places, though. Sure would speed up side questing after I've already finished all the side quests. Get it? Back to Seaside. Back to Seasidity. Excuse me, red shoulder boy.
Hey, are you the guy who's supposed to help repair the canal? Popola sent me to...
Oh god, it's over. My life is over.
What?
Surely you must realize nothing good can come of being involved with this particular endeavor.
Easy, Vice. Hey, so, are you alright? What happened?
It's my wife. She left home a week ago and hasn't come back. I'm so worried I can't even focus on my work. Oh, my sweet dumpling, where are you?
That's terrible. Would you like us to help you look for her?
Really? You do that for me?
Sure. But do you have any idea where we should start?
Well, she always used to enjoy drinking at the tavern with her friends.
Alright, then I guess we'll start with them.
Thank you. This means the world to me. Oh, and by the way,
We have
my
matching
wife
bags.
always carries a red bag, just like mine. If you mention that, it might ring some bells.
I've met some odd couples in my day, but none who felt the need to wander about flaunting matching luggage.
You need to get with the times. Coordinated outfits are all the rage.
Are they?
Plus, these bags are special. We bought them for our
Okay, that
anniversary.
makes more sense.
But now my sweet dumpling is gone. And it's all my fault. Oh, God.
Why is it your fault?
Okay, just stay calm. We'll go look for her, alright? You sit tight.
Why was it his fault that she's
I'm
gone?
willing
I
to
don't
bet
remember that part.
man knows more about his wife absconding than he's letting on.
We do not, though. Just as occasionally need to bring it up as it comes up. K-Mac and I are no longer dating as of a couple months ago, so no worries. If K-Mac comes back around, she'll be welcomed as a friend. But yeah, just as the way of things at the moment. I didn't exactly go around telling everyone, so just something that needs to be said every now and again. But yeah, we agreed to try to remain good friends. So so yeah.
Hey there, I'm looking for a woman carrying a red bag.
Are you now? Interesting. Did something happen to her?
Don't worry about rumors. Just
She
ask me
hasn't
where
been
she
home
is.
and her
God
husband's
damn it.
worried.
Why are you
Do you know
giving them
anything about where she
information?
might be?
Trouble in paradise, is it? Oh, those two never change. Anyway, the short answer is no. She hasn't been around here either. Though come to think of it, she always got on well with the woman over at the tackle shop. Maybe you should try her?
I'll do that. Thanks.
Hey, what's the rush? You've got a cute face. Why not sit here and join me for a round? Or three?
Damn.
Sorry, ma'am, but I'm not old enough to drink.
She doesn't mess around. Also, she is hitting on a minor.
Hey there, do you know a woman with a red bag by any chance?
A red bag? Oh, sure. Although now that I think about it, I haven't seen her in a while. Last time she came around, she mentioned something about leaving town. But I figured it was just idle talk.
Did she go to the spooky mansion?
All right, thanks for your time.
Seems to be a drinking age of sorts.
If she has truly left this charming hamlet, finding her may prove most difficult indeed.
I just hope she hasn't been attacked by shades or anything.
My best guess is that she's in the spooky mansion. Because that's the only big area that I haven't been to yet. That I can think of. Nice, more rainbow. Spider, go away. Ah! Really? Really? You pushed me back through the door? What, Caddy? What have I said? Jeez, I'm getting a lot of rainbow spider stuff. What? What about the book's magic balls? Don't worry about them. Well, not here, it seems. Also, Kaine's poison. I'm sure Kaine's fine. I'm sure she's fine. She can handle. Okay. My book also talks and floats. Caddy. The fact that it shoots magic is the first thing you're questioning. She just needs a bath. She's stinky.
Something about that shade seems rather odd.
Does it have a red bag? Sure does.
Hey, look at...
It is identical to the red satchel carried
Good.
by the man who sent us
Apparently,
on this
this
mad
shade
quest.
people just become shades when they die,
Perhaps it belongs to his spouse.
or
No.
they
you
like
think
to
the
steal
shades
people's
got her?
belongings.
I fear it likely, lad. I sense no other activity in the immediate vicinity. We were too late.
Well, this is terrible. What are we supposed to say?
However difficult it may be, we've no choice but to tell the man the truth.
No story in this game is allowed to be happy. Caddy, when do your audiobooks float? Also, Niv, I believe it's been only in the past week or so. But that's becoming more
Hey,
known
did you find my
about.
sweet dumpling?
We didn't, but we got this off a shade.
Handed over the red bag.
Oh no, this is hers.
So our fears were correct.
Oh God, how could this happen to her? This is all my fault.
Why is this all his fault? I would like to know why it's your fault.
If I may, my good man, why did your wife leave home in the first place?
It's because I...
Because you what?
I think we should give him some time to himself, Vice.
Is this enough time? Is this enough time? Can you speak about it now? Now?
Honey, I'm home. Good heavens, you're a wreck. What's wrong?
Dumpling, you're not dead.
Okay.
What in the world are you talking about? Oh, you found my bag. Thank you so much.
Well,
Can't believe I went
never
and
mind
dropped it
then.
like that.
This one's just a silly coincidence.
Oh, this is such a relief.
Okay, seriously. What's going on?
Also, that too. The fact that he overreacted with all of this very significantly.
I see. So, he found a shade with my bag and assumed I'd been attacked and killed?
I'm just glad you're safe, Dumpling, but I'm also so sorry. This is all my fault.
Still don't know why it's your fault.
If I didn't eat that apple you were saving. Oh, God, I'm such an idiot.
Okay, you're very overreacting.
Listen, I promise I'll never eat anything of yours again. You just promise never to run away from home again, okay?
Also, yeah, like, he is very much treating her like a possession, which is very bad.
Run away? Have you lost your mind? I just went to visit my parents.
Huh?
I told you about this. Going to see my family, gone for a week. Remember? Ugh, are you serious right now? Why don't you ever listen to me?
I mean, she's right.
Lad, my brilliant intuition suggests we should beat a hasty retreat from these two with all speed.
Should we get out of here? Stick around and listen, or suddenly remember that other important errand. You have a lot to work out here, it seems. Mostly in the fact that your husband doesn't seem to actually listen to what you say and just makes up his own stories about the things.
Oh, hey, I have to go pick up a fish from the fish store.
I can't believe you didn't listen to me, and you ate my apple. Ugh, you are the absolute worst.
What? Oh, like you're some perfect angel. You didn't even care enough about our anniversary to hang on to your bag. You, kid, I'm right about this, yeah? If anyone's wrong here, it's my wife, right?
You know, it's not a
you're
good
asking me?
it's not a good debate if people are asking you to pick sides. If it comes down to a situation like that, it's typically both sides are dumb. Who's in the wrong here? Both of these are dumb. Both of these are dumb. Also, yeah, the apple's not the main part. The fact that he didn't even listen to the fact that she went to go see her parents is the part. The husband's more in the wrong, so I guess I'll just say the husband's wrong. But they're both really dumb.
Well, you shouldn't have eaten your wife's apple. That's not very nice.
But I was hungry, and it was just sitting
Okay,
there.
that's a pathetic excuse.
Look,
What are
I'm
you,
glad
5?
You were looking for my wife and all, but that was low, friend. Low.
Fuck off. You should have let me go get my fish at the fish store.
Oh, did I cross a line there?
Besides, it's pretty rich to come after me for an apple when you threw away my entire stamp
Okay,
collection.
now you're bringing a greater variables into the matter. You need to have a long discussion and maybe a divorce.
You're damn right I did, and I'd do it again. You are nothing but a hoarding slob. You there, my husband's in the wrong here, isn't he?
Pardon, but madam,
Honestly, both of them. Honestly, both of them. Which means you're both terrible and you're perfect for each other. I don't care.
Oh, enough. The both of you are at fault. Now apologize to one another and end this ridiculous display.
Talk for a floating magazine.
I see you finally agree on something.
Yeah. And then they do happily ever after, because that somehow resolved things. 1 hour later.
Do you not even understand how frustrating this is, you colossal oaf? This is exactly what I hate about you.
Fine, hate me. I'll still sleep like a baby knowing I'm not an unreasonable hag like you.
Vice, what do I do?
You turn on your heel and walk away as fast as your legs can carry you, my good lad.
That's it. I have had enough. Instead of belittling me, why don't you get a proper
Okay,
job?
you're bringing
Everyone in the neighborhood treats
everything
me
about
like dirt,
this is
and it's all because of my unemployed slob of a husband.
This is like the definition of there's so many problems here. And every time you're not resolving any of the problems, you keep just adding another problem to the list. And then the other person adds a problem. Then the other person adds a problem.
Actually, I have a job now.
Wait, you what? You're kidding. Why didn't you tell me? That's great.
Well, I sort of wanted it to be a surprise.
Oh, you big silly Billy. Well, this calls for a celebration.
What?
Come on, I'm going to bake you a nice apple pie.
You're gonna celebrate with them based on getting a job. You didn't even hear what the job was. Okay, well, I guess these danguses deserve each other. I don't know. Get me out of here.
I have no idea what just transpired, but it has utterly exhausted me.
Well, looks like they made up, so all's well that ends well?
In the course of all that madness, I have forgotten why we even came here in the first place.
Oh, heck, the canal. We need to ask him about the canal.
Yeah, we should do that. You, sir! Drop that apple pie!
I can't thank you enough.
We
for
need to
all
know
your
about the
help.
canal.
Sure, but listen, we need to talk to you about the canal.
Oh, right. That's why you came here in the first place, huh? Well, now that my love life is rolling in clover again, I'd be more than happy to get going on the canal work.
It was 5 minutes ago that you quote unquote resolved your problems. Oh, okay, everything's fine and good and dandy.
Tell me about it. Anyway, let's go give Popola an update.
If only I could live so obliviously. If only. Wow, game. Also true, but wow.
The couple with the red bags were a strange pair indeed. It boggles the mind to think their relationship can persist despite such intense squabbling.
Fuck.
Well, they looked pretty happy in the end, at least. Maybe the secret to living a happy life is sharing your feelings, even when they're sort of mean and weird.
If you adopt such a strategy, I may leave for groceries one day and never return.
Daddy Vice, no! We have 6 at home, Daddy Vice. Also, Caddy, I don't remember what the original shiny hunt price was. Was it like only 30k or something? Absolutely absurd that that's what it was at. It's 50k. Absurd that I said it that low. Didn't share their feelings. They ignored both their feelings for an excuse to celebrate things and forgot all about the problems because yum apple pie. Yep. The hallmark of a tried and true relationship, apparently, according to their standards.
Goodness. It sounds like the canal repairman had quite the problem on his hands. I'm glad everything turned out all right. Thank you so much for your help.
Don't mention it. I'm looking forward to seeing how the canal turns out.
Excuse me.
If you need anything else from us, just say the word.
Thanks. Hey, wait.
Oh?
Huh?
I almost forgot. Yona is looking for you.
Oh. Where?
She said she needed something from you. Time to go play Big Brother for a bit, huh?
I guess so. Thanks.
Fine, I'll go be a good brother. Gosh. Yeah, one day you'll shine. One day. Yeah, I mean, you'll get more points more often now because I'm technically starting. According to your time zone, I'm starting my streams 2 hours earlier than I previously was. So you have some semblance of opportunities to hang out in my streams for a bit, even though it is still very late for you. Spirit drop. 700G. Yona!
Yay, you're back.
Popola said you needed something?
Yeah.
Yes, you should, Ken.
favor,
You should try to
actually.
sleep, yes.
What is it?
Um,
I can't help if you don't tell me, sis.
okay, I'm gonna say it. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready, Yona.
I need you to help my friend.
A friend?
Your friend?
Yep, I have a friend, and we've been writing each other letters.
Oh, the ones we've been reading?
Seriously?
Not just your journal?
How delightful.
So who is this friend?
Well, he's kinda...
He? It's a guy?
Don't be like that.
Yes, and he's sick and in a whole lot of trouble. And I know that you and Vicey are the only ones who can help him.
Vicey?
Tell me about this guy.
He lives in this really
Don't
big
be so
house,
judgy.
and he's super nice, and he's my friend. So you have to
Ah, now we're going to the haunted mansion.
Yona, listen.
please.
Where we get to see spooky, scary skeletons.
Great. Now what do I do?
And shivers down your spine. Can't say no. Curing a black scrawl is more important. We should probably do a good thing for our sister because we've been constantly ignoring her while we were searching for all the things. So...
Fine. I'll see what I can do.
Don't sound so freaking reluctant to do it, Okabe. Jeez.
Thank you.
Don't make it sound like taking care of your sister is such a damn burden to you.
Great. Yona's got a boyfriend.
How is that what you jumped to immediately?
Something amiss, lad. Your voice is trembling.
No, it isn't.
The character
Shut up.
interactions over the past 10 minutes sure have been something. Boys and girls can't be just friends. It's impossible. So says NieR Replicant. Specifically the main character of NieR Replicant. It's the dumbest shit. Yes, you can be friends.
How can these creatures let us dispatch them without complaint? And what would make them appear in this area in the first place? It is hardly what one would call especially fertile ground.
Pie. Oh, good. It's actually an upgrade. Howdy. Listen, my slices while I'm rolling are imaginary. I swear. Gabby. At some point I should equip those better words, but we'll get there eventually. Excuse me, don't worry. No, stop. Oh, hello. It seems you've cleaned up the spiders of your own yard. Magic. Gabby. Item drop rate is what I was been rolling with. Confuse, poison, paralyze. XP. That's good. Bad. Sign those. Weapons. Pahi. And still just want that. Bad design. Pahi doesn't do squat. Guard resistance, physical strength. MP recovery rate is what I have, which is what I want to maintain. Okay, there we go. You kill things, then equip better words to tell a publisher deems it good enough. That's how literally every word, or how every book is written. Hello.
We have been waiting for you, sirs.
That's not what Yona said.
Please, right this way.
Suspicious. That you've been waiting for us specifically. Yona never said we were coming. It's quite the the effect on the borders of the screen. We Resident Evil now. That angle, okay, this is pretty clearly intended to be Resident Evil. Which version of it, though? Is there a secret entrance behind here? No. Okay, so it's not Resident Evil remake, unfortunately. Also, we can't run. We can magic. Oops. Yeah, we're just Resident Evil now. Things are a bit out of order, but we're just Resident Evil now.
Waiting's a bitch. Just let me know if any shades show up, okay?
We need to grab the shield on top of the fireplace. Over here is... Oh no, this is where the zombie is. I can't go in there. This is very rude that we can't run. Yep, that's where we came from.
I do not like this one bit.
What's the matter, Vice? Scared?
All the previous owners of this mansion, probably. Key marked darkness. God. This feels like this is just going to be boring. An homage to Resident Evil is neat, but it's not exactly going to be exciting.
Perhaps we should head back, yes?
Moon. Dang it, there's no fast way for me to travel. I can't do a roll dash or anything. Kaine's a zombie! Nope, she just left.
Where'd Kaine go?
No, Kaine is Wesker!
I knew this was a terrible idea. Haunted manors and the like. Oh, why does no one ever listen to me?
Kaine is Wesker. Oh, that's where it would lead to. Okay. All right, well, let's just leave. Later, Kaine.
It's locked.
Oh, good. Now to slowly walk back over. Yep. Dang it. Camera shift. Out of where? Are you in the bathroom?
What's this? The picture has changed.
Oh no! It has horns! You're a little bit aged there. I can't get a good picture on the last one.
It looks like it's in pain. It's kind of scary.
Yes. Come now. Brave faces. Onward and upward, eh?
Indeed, Vice, indeed.
Yes.
Hidden items? You mean there's items that are hidden in boxes? I would have never known. Moon! I'm really hoping there's just actually some horrific stuff eventually. But in actuality, I think that's all we're doing is going to be slowly walking through this.
Shades!
What foul hole did they crawl from?
Never mind. There's shades at least. Which I guess there are zombies. Also, we cannot aim anywhere besides the direction we're looking. Star? Who's gonna be the Crimson Head? Oh no! It's a liquor! Also, that wasn't
You're a man.
Moonlight Sonata.
Young. Not even 20.
Also, Whomst? The son of Wesker? It's a nice blindfold you have there. Whomst are Whomst?
You figured that out from my footsteps?
It's not hard once you know how.
Then I suppose I should tell you about my friend Vice.
I only heard one set of footsteps.
It would have been creepier if you said two.
Grimoire Weiss does not strut about like a common land mammal. But enough of this introductory
It's because I
chatter.
carried you.
Let us hear your tale.
My name is Emil. I'm the master of this manor.
The boy! Meal.
So you're the one who sent the letters?
Letters? What are you talking about?
Of course you don't know. Such a thing would be far too simple.
No! Stay back!
Huh?
I'm sorry. It's my eyes. Anything I look at gets turned to stone.
Oh. You've got... I was gonna say the Midas touch, but no, that's Medusa's case.
That's why I live with this blindfold.
What a remarkable skill. I've never heard of such a thing.
Anyway, I suppose my butler might know more about the letters you received.
How does your
This
butler
key
know
here
more
can
than
unlock
you?
Any door in the manor. So if you'd like my assistance.
No, please, don't trouble yourself. We can get around on our own.
Oh, right. Sure. Well, here's the key then. The butler's quarters are at the far end of the manor. Let me at least give you a map. It's a big place, and I don't want you to get lost.
Stop. Delightful. Dang you.
Vice,
Camera
what should we
change.
do about Kaine?
Leave her. That woman is capable enough on her own.
I mean, true.
Jeez, remind me to never get on your bad side.
Listen, Kaine has handled worse situations. Hello.
What's that?
A butler, or at least a remarkable likeness of one. I knew this was a trap. Curse my brilliant intuition.
It's a fake.
Somebody. Anybody.
Is that Kaine?
Shades!
Oh no, shades. We did it. Also, who needs to swing your sword in a game where you have magic? Oh. Oh, good. I mean, should also maybe turn it off, but nah, it looks like the sink has anti-overflow devices. The light key. Ah, no. I was just gonna say, I bet I have to use the light key here. What secrets do you have, butler? The secret bookshelf, maybe?
Whoa. Is that another one?
Nope. Oh. Hello, Puppet Butler. It's me, Puppet Butler.
What's going on here?
Sir? What is this?
Oh, this is my butler. He helps me out around the manor. He's a good man at heart, but a bit inflexible. Almost like a statue.
Almost.
Yes, and I do apologize for that, Master Emil. I doubt he's even human.
We're here because my sister received some letters from this manor.
Yes, I wrote those letters. Please forgive my impertinence. As you may
So
know,
you're the one
Master
dating my
Emil,
sister.
deeply pained by his eyes, has shut himself away from the world. He suffers greatly behind that blindfold, and I feel it is my duty to help however I can. I heard tale of the exploits of an emerging hero, and so I sent a letter to you under Master Emil's name. But I received a response from one Miss Yona instead.
Wait, so Yona's pen pal is you?
It is, sir. My letters merely requested that you come to the manor. I meant no ill intent. I believe Yona saw the exchange somewhat differently.
Yeah, sounds like she misunderstood the situation.
Regardless, I am quite pleased to see you here. Long have I dreamed of the day we might be able to do something about Master Emil's eyes.
I see.
Yes, well, I am afraid we, or at least this lad beside me, is neither hero nor physician, so if you'll excuse us.
Was it 1-800-CONTACTS? But they don't have my brand. I have special eyes. But they do, honey. It's right here. My brand!
Please, we're so close.
That's what we're getting for him.
Condition is located in this
We're
very
calling up.
manor.
We're calling up 1-800-CONTACTS.
Then why don't you just go get it?
Alas, the location of the cure has become a den for those abominable shades, and I lack the skill to combat them.
I have a magic book.
Defeat the shades and restore Master Emil's sight.
Okay, easy breezy.
You know this is an impossible task. Why would you ask it of our guests?
Well, we've no more time to waste, so...
It's okay. We'll do it.
See here, lad. This is no time to play the hero.
I don't know, it seems
People need to look
nice
out
enough
for each
to
other,
do.
Vice. Plus, we have to find Kaine anyway.
1,000 thank yous. I owe you a debt that can never be repaid.
Good night, Caddy. Thanks for hanging.
I'm really sorry
Get
for all the trouble.
sleep.
My butler cares so much for me, but for him to make such outlandish requests.
1,000.
But hey, at least I can petrify your enemies. That's
You want
gotta
to do
be
that with these
some
ones?
help, right?
Ah.
I can't let you do this on your own. so I'll be right here.
I got a
if you need it.
dictionary. Hell yeah.
Maybe my eyes can be useful for once.
Good job. Turn them to dust. Oh, the horns grew even more. Oh. Get one-handed sword, blade of treachery. What is so treacherous about it? When a man who has lost his way wields the sword, the blade becomes blunt as wood. It already looks incredibly blunt. It already looks incredibly blunt. Ooh, that weapon drop rate is what I want. Words. Mice. What's in hither? Is it the foyer? No, the foyer is in the front. It's literally the first room we entered. I just like the word foyer. Oh no! We've been locked inside such a dubious ploy! We did. Good job of me. I barely swung my sword and just spammed magic. Okay, we can save. Just in case. Plop down a second. Just.
This is it. We should find the cure somewhere nearby.
Bah, I do not like anything about this place.
Uh-oh. That book's a bit steamy. Oh no. An evil vice? Oh no. Oh no, it also has words.
This book's kind of like you, Vice.
Oh, aren't we clever? As if any mere tome could compare to the wonderment that is Grimoire Vice. Petrification is a fearsome power indeed.
There's no end to this.
Pages of this infernal book are sharp as knives.
Guess you never learned that trick, huh?
Ah. Rude. Oh, okay, we did it. Oh, or not.
Oh no! I can't petrify it!
Try harder. Stick your face into the globe. Kaine.
Kaine!
And where have you been,
Lost. Where have you been?
Getting stomped by this thing. Help!
This foe's strength is beyond measure.
What do we do?
Just hit it with your blue
I am
magic.
an arcane text, not some manual of combat. You are supposed to deal with such matters.
You guys run! I'll hold it off while you escape!
Who's this kid?
That's Emil. He's the one who runs this.
Fuck, this book is a real asshole!
She's not even listening.
She's too busy vomiting filth disguised as language.
You guys go! This is my fight! I can't ask you to die for me!
Aye, aren't we the bold one? And yet I fear that would be a foolish course of action at this juncture.
Oh, we get it.
Besides,
We
we'd
did
never
it.
let you do that.
Would you
Shoot.
all please just shut the hell up?
What?
I'm just saying, if you bastards want to have a goddamn civilized discussion on the merits of bravery and sacrifice, we can do it later.
Is this your way of encouraging us?
Have we truly sunk to motivational speeches from a woman in her undergarments?
Listen,
Yes, so?
motivational speeches can happen anywhere.
Now!
There we go. I guess you'd literally just keep hitting it. Bad book. Shoot. I have it instead. Easy. There can only be one.
Vice, this is it!
Research report on petrification. Well, well.
Ain't that convenient? A dark whirlwind. Attack with magical rotating blades. Charge to increase the number of blades. That seems like what I want to use.
This passage is written in some kind of code. I
Oh.
went through all this trouble to find it, and now...
Oh, look, Jeeves is back.
Please allow me to handle this, Master Emil. I shall put all of my efforts into deconstructing this cipher. No matter how long it takes, I will not fail.
Sebastian.
Ah, so the servant has a name after all.
Sebastian. All buttons are Sebastian by law.
Emil, listen to me.
Wasn't that also the Black Butler's name? I don't remember. It's been a long time since I watched
What
Black
is it,
Butler.
Kaine?
Why are you stroking his face?
Your eyes are not a sin. Don't ever be ashamed of them. They're a vital part of you. Do you understand?
They were also Sebastian. Excellent.
What's this? A shade? How did you...
This arm is your cursed weapon. I thought I would only need it until I had earned my revenge. Once that happened, I figured it was all over. But there's a reason I'm alive, that my arm is alive. And there's a reason for your eyes, too.
Kaine.
But listen, if this shade should ever...
For some reason, I didn't piece it together that it was just her arm. And that's why she has the bandages on a single arm. Also, apparently one leg. She didn't say anything about her cursed leg.
I promise I'll never give up, Kaine. But you can't give up either.
Well, we're off.
All right.
Hey, so Yona's sick, and she doesn't get out much. Do you think you might be able to send her more letters when you have the time?
I would be delighted, sir.
Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for everything.
Take care, Emil. I hope your eyes get better soon.
Sealed first collect.
I saw you exchange some words with that Emil lad earlier. Hopefully it was nothing inappropriate for a young man of his age.
Vice, please.
Speak the truth, hussy.
Book? Shut up.
Yeah, calm down, Vice. We've got our hands on all the sealed verses now.
Oh, that was all of
All
them?
that remains is to find his grimoire noir.
Then we can finally save Yona.
Oh, that wasn't? Oh, I thought that was Grimoire Noir that we just beat. Oh. I would like to try the whirlwind. This seems very powerful. This seems very powerful, and it costs so much no magic. You just deal constant damage to everything around you. That seems very powerful. Also, Kaine was being a big softie. There's one magic that's completely broken. You're not saying it's this one, but you're also not saying it's not this one. It's not whirlwind. Damn. Do I already have the busted one? I don't know. I seem to get away with every single fight just by spamming regular shooting. Is it the spears? Dark execution. I mean, dark execution does also stun enemies, or puts them on the spears for an extended period of time. Not broken in a damage sense.
Yona, you need to lie down.
I know.
Gluttony? Just absorb all the enemy bullets.
It won't be much longer, I promise. I finally collected all of the sealed verses. Now, I just need to find Grimoire Noir.
It sounds dangerous. Will you be okay?
It is situational, but it's
Of course I will.
Is this
very
gonna
strong
make
in
me
those
better?
situations.
Is my cough going to go away?
Yes, it will.
Definitely. Yona?
You're not gonna hate me because of this, are you?
What are
Wall?
you talking about?
Really?
It's just I don't want you to hate me because of this terrible disease.
Yona, I could never hate you. I'm gonna go see if Popola has more medicine.
Yona? No! Bad Yona brain. Stop. Fully charged wall makes you immune to stagger and all damage. All damage? So you can literally just
Yona's looking
fire
weaker
that
and
off
weaker
and then just be
every
like,
day.
do
Yes, but do not
run
lose
around and
heart.
do whatever.
You are the girl's last remaining hope.
Oh, interesting. It didn't save it on another file. Even though I hit it to save on file 2. Or maybe I just hit circle on accident. Yeah, I'm probably just not going to use wall. Because that seems like it's just gonna make the game combat not even fun. Also, again, we still only have fishing quests, so I'm not seeing any other immediate quests that we can do. So I'm just gonna keep pressing on with the story. We're gonna have a full day of just story for once. Shamelessly used it for hard mode, but I also didn't know it was broken until I tried.
Popola, Yona's cough is getting worse.
Oh, that's not good.
Any chance you could give me some more medicine? Please?
The thing is, I actually just ran out.
Uh-oh.
I hate to ask this, but
Vapor
can you get me
moss.
some vapor moss? You'll find it growing near the southern gate.
Vapor moss, huh? I'll be right back.
Run! Hurry! Excuse me, I need moss. We've turned into the Chris from Deltarune. Must consume of moss. Vapor moss. Emil?
Emil?
What happened? What happened? Sir, what happened?
What is it? What happened?
Hurry.
Emil!
He doesn't seem to be sick. I think it's just fatigue. I can't imagine how hard it must have been to run all this way without sight.
Are you all right, Emil?
I can see it.
Hey,
See
just
what?
take it easy, okay?
The air. It's vibrating.
That's probably not good. Take care, Era.
I can
Thanks for
feel
hanging.
it behind my eyes.
Have yourself a good sleep.
So much pressure. Oh God, there's so many of them. Get out. Get out of the village. The shades are coming.
Oh no. Uh-oh.
Huh?
Sounds like they're already here.
Come on, let's go.
Uh-oh. Can we go quick stop by Yona? Shove some moss down her face and successful test case has been discovered and detained. The specimen's cooperation has been requested according to predetermined stipulations. Treatment of the specimen will continue on a classified basis until we determine why the result of this. I couldn't read the rest. Ruh-roh.
Damn it! It's not gonna hold!
Oh, it's a big boy. Uh-oh. Ow. Oh, it's not a big boy. It's just a bunch of small boys. Dang you, clouds! Go away!
Shades are attacking.
A southern gate, I believe. Right? Yep.
The hell's going on?
Nice staff, Devila.
No time. Get everyone into the library. And please, make sure Yona's safe.
Don't worry. I'll grab her. Just don't get yourself killed, all right?
I won't. Now go, Devila. Hurry! We have to stop them before they destroy the village.
Dispatch these smaller ones as fast as you can.
I'll kill every last one of you.
You whelps are hardly worthy of our steel.
Come on. Bring everything you got.
Hurry! Hurry!
Oh, look.
Get the wounded to the library.
How did we have a second gate? Oh, shit. Uh-oh. Another big boy. Slightly more colossal. Little bit more colossal. Hey, 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 hey. Foot off of there. Hey. Hey, off the table. Get down from there. You know better than that. Stop.
Dear God, what is that brute?
I don't know. We gotta take it down.
The arms are vulnerable when it attacks.
Got it. Oh. Big hand. And up. I'll be taking that. Rude. You're not supposed to have more than two of those.
That's not good.
The generating shade. How will we even know if our attacks are working?
We'll just have to keep hitting it until we find out. We can climb up from here.
Ah, rude.
Climb as fast as you can. Perhaps its interior is more vulnerable.
then fire some magic into its mouth.
I can do that.
Look where it's headed.
Like hell it is.
Get back here.
That doesn't look good.
We can't let it get to the library, no matter what.
You don't need that foot, I'm sure. Okay. Steal another one of those arms, or maybe steal your face. Said it was weak in the mouth. Maybe we should have shoved our giant magic fist down its throat.
This isn't
Rip out its
working.
core, if it has a
So
core.
what do we do?
I don't know. Keep punching it. That's all we know. Never fear, Kaine is here. Damn.
You guys having a good time? Huh?
Kaine!
Underestimate us at your own peril, fiend.
Keep hitting it. At some point, it's gotta start
Yep.
working.
Is she trying to raise our morale, or is she honestly there to be safe?
Either one works for me. Let's go!
It's heading toward the library.
No, that's where Yona is!
You're almost there. Keep pushing.
You're gonna die today, shithog.
Shithole. Oh, come now. That's not even a real word.
Okay, this is rude. I can't do any more damage.
Looks like you've learned how to swing that thing.
I'm glad you noticed.
Well, I'm not doing any damage anymore, so this is good.
You really know how to put up a fight.
Ow.
Come on, keep pushing it.
I am. The health doesn't deplete. It's cheating.
You stubborn son of a bitch.
It's cheating. I was really hoping that was just going to be a distraction. It jumps high up in the air and then he just runs straight forward and stabs it normally. Also, if only the clone spell was that powerful. Try again. Use literally every sealed verse. More lances. You know what's also nice for AoE? Giant spinning sights around me at all times. We did it. Job's done. Uh-oh.
Oh no, Shade's in the library. Yona!
That's no good. Floating and flying and floating enemies. Ah, yeah, that's fine. Because it's a 3D AoE and not just a 2D AoE.
Emil, are you okay? You can't keep fighting like this.
I have to. There's no other choice. Otherwise, why did I even come here?
Get out of here, Emil!
No! I won't abandon these people now. You told me once that my eyes had value, and that I shouldn't be ashamed of them. You told me that even a life like mine had purpose. So I won't just sit around and let you fight while I stay behind.
Emil, just don't die on me.
I won't, Kaine. Let's take care of these shithogs.
I like it.
Amazing.
You can't let any more shades in here.
I'm not. I'm doing a very good job, actually, of cleaning them out. I should probably heal. Uh-oh. Why is your head still alive? Don't target the blind boy. That's rude.
Emil!
Is there no way to kill this infernal thing?
I mean, we can keep hitting it. That seemed to work well enough last time.
Perhaps we could chase it to the basement and seal it there. Those walls are thick rock. I doubt even this beast could break them.
Works for me.
Great. I love basements.
Oh, come on. One little tick of health. There goes.
Do it! Knock it down the basement!
Oh, come on.
It's healing too quickly.
Please tell me you have an idea.
Rude. Dang it.
Do it! Knock it down the basement!
Okay, let's go again. Get him! Oh! Pound!
Give me the key! Right!
Nani?
No!
It's a good thing that's just in the shoulder. Also, whomst? Ow. Whomst? Whomst or yoomst? We get it, you're fast. Also, why do you just have my sister now?
Dear God.
Yuna!
Is that evil me? Oh no, the shades are born of blood. Who could have seen this coming? Except for that, the shades also spew blood everywhere. Yeah, that's the NieR Replicant. Oh, the shades are bowing to it. A Shade
Is that
Lord.
the leader of these creatures?
Stay back, Kaine! Seal the door!
Also, apparently we have the key. Also, seems to be a very powerful book. Mayhaps this is the noir.
Finally.
Oh.
Where am I?
It's been a long time, Grimoire Weiss.
Who are you? What is this place?
I am Grimoire Noir. I am you.
I am thou and thou art I?
Do you not remember, Grimoire Weiss? We two
Yeah, he's
serve
happy.
a higher purpose.
Two.
Enough lies. Stay back.
Why do you try to suppress the memory? Do you fear hurting someone close to you?
Preposterous.
Your denial is preposterous. We are mere books created to serve the Shadow Lord.
Whomst is the
You
Shadow
have no
Lord?
right to forsake him.
Whomst?
The Shadow Lord?
Do you remember our ultimate goal?
Nope.
Our ultimate goal.
White and black shall fuse to one and set free shades to the world.
Fuse us? No, I cannot. I will not. I will never.
Your
To
chance encounter with this boy.
Turn everyone to
Your
shades?
collection of the sealed verses. It was all set in motion by the Shadow Lord himself.
Well, ain't that convenient.
No. Lies.
I would explain how Yona got into that dang castle.
The time has come for us to create a new and perfect world.
No such thing as a perfect world. New, maybe yes, but perfect,
we
no.
shall become as one, you and I.
Become one.
Vice, you dumbass!
She knows how to cut through.
Start making sense, you rotten book, or you're gonna be sorry. Maybe I'll rip your pages out one by one, or maybe I'll put you in the goddamn furnace. How can someone with such a big smart brain get hypnotized like a little bitch, huh? Oh, Shadow Lord, I love you, Shadow Lord. Come over here and give Vice a big sloppy kiss, Shadow Lord. Now pull your head out of your goddamn ass and start fucking helping us.
Kinda knows how to cut straight through.
One with the shadow. Huh? Bitch.
We grimoires exist.
That's
to
quite the
create
line.
in this
Huh?
world a new and
Bitch.
just paradise. We must unite. The world demands it.
Paradise.
Yes, and we are so close
What
to
paradise?
realizing it.
Please don't go, Vice.
Oh, kind words can also cut through too. Kind of like Kaine's method more, but
It's okay. I'll understand. I'll understand if you forget us. But I promise I won't forget you. I'll remember you no matter what. I'll keep the memory of Grimoire Weiss alive forever. And that's not all I'll do. You hear me? I'll chase you till the end of time, and I'll bring you back to us. So, Weiss, please. Please come back.
Damn it, we need to stop him. If we don't do something, that black book will absorb Vice.
Black. White. Black. White.
Yes, now we shall unite in common purpose.
We will form.
Then the world can finally
Gray.
bear witness to our true power.
Vice! Vice!
Okay, pick it up with the other hand. That arm's a bit damaged.
We've got to.
Also, is this happening in the same room or in some other dimension?
For the last time, my name is Grimoire Weiss, and it is not to be abbreviated.
Yay!
Vice!
Good to see you, Kaine. Although I don't think anyone has ever accused me of being a little bitch before. And you, we meet again.
Vice, you okay?
I believe I could ask you the same question right now.
Impossible. We must unite. We must become as one.
I don't like you, and I want nothing to do with you. Besides, I have my companions.
You're back!
Of course, they're weak, and they whine when I leave.
Vice!
It's almost too much trouble, but they are my friends. I shall fight by their side, now and forever.
Vice, thanks.
Let's go. Also, I probably shouldn't attack the person who's carrying my... All my magical powers have taken away. Okay, good.
Our true memories are still there. How dare you ignore them?
Perhaps you should have scribbled them in my margins,
Ah!
Let us start by dispatching the nearby distractions.
Done.
I can't use my magic.
Dang it. Oh, there's more. That's why. Oh, why is there so many? Howdy, Fart. Thanks for stopping by.
The fiend has stolen the sealed verses.
Not for long, it haven't. It hasn't. It stole my language too, damn it.
I'll get them back, Vice.
And you are the last one left, Noir.
Or address me by my proper name.
I'll be taking that. Wish I had gluttony back for that. That's mine. That's also mine. That's also mine. What's the point of defending when I can just keep attacking? Whirlwind is mine. Also, this is mine. Also, this is mine. Just beat the crap out of them. It's all mine.
We have reclaimed my powers. Good heavens, the roof is about to collapse. Here it comes. Stay back.
I can't run now.
Also, why did it decide to change my stuff into Dark Execution instead of the other thing? It's fine.
Vice!
Oh, that's quite the... I was just gonna make a joke about the texture glitching out, but now we're dead. That's not good. It does look just like a completely broken texture, though.
You will understand in time.
Yona! Get up!
No!
Give my sister back!
Any of those sealed verses do anything with healing?
No matter how things unfold, it all returns to us. All of it.
For some reason.
Yona!
Pick up the blood, put it back inside. So why are you standing right now? Should be trying to seal that wound.
Are you okay?
Yona!
Is this blood?
The fight's over. And I think we lost.
We?
Sorry, guys. I think this is it. For me, too.
Kaine, no!
Oh, quit crying. Look, before I go, we need to take care of this guy. Emil,
Yeah?
I want you to... I want you to petrify me. You can use me to keep this thing locked away down there.
No! I can't!
Well, this has all turned to shit, hasn't it?
Right! It's suicide! You can't do it!
Your powers exist to protect others, right?
Also, probably not good that she's part shade and she just came into contact with the Shadow Lord.
Kaine!
Just
That's
do
probably
it.
also a thing.
But...
If you don't, it's gonna break down this fucking door!
I don't know what to do!
Exactly as she told you. It's actually exactly as she wants. Do nothing and be annihilated. Well, I don't exactly have that as a feasible option. Either that or that's one of the endings.
Kaine. No more crying, okay? Grow strong. Never lose hope. Vice.
Spare me the goodbye, hussy. I imagine it will take more than this to kill you.
I doubt it.
Because you
Wait for me.
cauterized the wound for us with those stone eyes, too.
Kaine. I swear.
Well, everything went completely according to plan. We rescued everyone in the library. No sacrifices were made in the process. Let's just make a separate save file just in case. National Weapons Library. We have verified a level of compatibility between the donor bodies and the weapons brought in by the Accord Corporation. We'll continue using them as subjects for research as we move forward with project number 6. The time skip. What a beginning to the time skip. Uh-oh. Who let those shades get armor? The answer is it don't matter. They can't stand up to presumably time skip, Okabe.
Don't let your guard down.
Oh no, he's still incredibly young, but slightly less so.
I guess that was a tad obvious.
Also, he's strong. You may now use two-handed swords and spears. Oh, good. Oh, I can swap between them. Okay. Oh, these are strong hits.
Enough horseplay.
Dang it. Oh. Let's try this. Oh, step. You don't need this armor. Oh, big step. Also, I'm assuming that Beast Bane is still my most damaging weapon. Why do you have so much health? Huh? Stop blocking. Stop blocking. Execute.
Yet another poor victim.
Damn it. When will this stop?
Oh. Our voice has deepened too. We've grown up in a world of presumably terrible things.
It's dangerous here. You should get back.
Oh, gods! Oh, get up, honey. Please. Get up!
Goddamn shades are even attacking the village now.
And armored ones, no less. This village of yours seems to be changing for the worse.
It's all the Shadow Lord's fault. That one day changed everything.
It sure did.
5 long years.
It's been 5 years since they took my sister. I spent every waking moment searching for her, but all I found is heartache and despair. This world is winding down. Between the shades and the black scrawl, there won't be anyone left soon. My life now, and my purpose, is hunting shades. Someday I'll find a clue that will lead me to the Shadow Lord. I believe that. I have to.
Popola called for you, yes?
Yeah.
We lost a good deal of time with that.
Yeah.
Dang shades. Why is that dark execution there? I wanted my whirlwind. Botany. Dark glass is fine. My word's still good. Up. Should probably put that onto all of them. Now that I have other weapons. Oh. What are these weapons anyway? Okay, it's 295, but also it's very slow. 221 faster. But Beastbane is still, well, roughly as powerful, so I probably just stick with that for a while. But yeah, also with that, I think I'm gonna have to call it quits for the night. Seems like a good spot to stop. Oh no! No! Can't 100% all the quests. Rip the completionist run. I'm better off. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. In part because that one just literally was just like, hey, go fishing. Which I'm like, I think I'm done fishing in this game already. I really don't feel like going fishing anymore. Yeah, with that, we're gonna call it quits for the night. I need to acquire sleep. Also need to sleep off all the world falling apart in this game thing. It's fine. Yeah, you're very welcome. Yeah, I will be back on Wednesday, and we'll be doing more of NieR times, and I'm sure there's nothing but more happiness ahead of us, because clearly the world's on the up and up in these past 5 years. At least from the Shade's perspective, it's up and up. Yeah, whom's this live that we can go say hi to? Lots of people are alive. My goodness. I think let's go say hi. Let's go say hi to Pal. I don't think Pal's been able to stream too much as of late, so let's go say hi to Pal. And wish them the best. Because they're always delightful. Yeah. Again, thank you so much, everyone, for hanging out. I appreciate it. I'll be back on Wednesday with more happy NieR times. And yeah. And then that Elite Four event is happening on Monday, next Monday. So look forward to that as well. And yeah, that's all I got. Yeah. Again, thank you so much, everyone, for hanging out. I appreciate it. Have yourselves a wonderful night. And go eat some love on over to Pal. All right, goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.